Back now to former President Trump's legal troubles. William Swore is going to join us right now, I believe, a criminal defense attorney. But before we get to that, let's get to this. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, is his career, is his post in danger? That is a real question right now. Andrew, our political team has been covering this because House Republicans, they want him out, or at least they say they want him out. They're doing these impeachment hearings.
Yeah, and it really is an issue that we see permeating on the campaign trail. And you hear Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, they're talking about it every day. Polling shows Republicans polling much better on the issue.
So they're pushing forward with the efforts to impeach him in the Homeland Security Committee in the House, and they're going to be holding a second hearing, I believe. All of this stems, of course, from the crisis at the southern border. So let's get into it tonight here on The Race. They're calling him, quote, I think the biggest threat to domestic security or something like that. Yeah. And our next guest is actually on this committee.
Well, that's right. And Mayorkas, we should note, has testified a total of 27 times. He's not going to testify tomorrow. There's another hearing. It's a second Mayorkas impeachment hearing, in part because he's scheduled to meet with Mexican officials to discuss the border enforcement. For more insights on this, let's bring in Congressman Glenn Ivey. He represents Maryland's 4th Congressional District. Also, equally as important, a member of the Homeland Security Committee where all this is playing out. Mr. Ivey, thank you for your time. I do want to start with what's going on in your committee. I know as a Democrat, you are not in favor of impeaching Secretary Mayorkas, but do you think he's been doing an effective job dealing with the problems at the southern border?
Well, I think he's been doing a good job in a very, very tough situation. I was just going through one of the Supreme Court opinions that they cited at the last hearing. And, I think it was Justice Kavanaugh pointed out that Congress hasn't addressed this issue of immigration in about 40 years. And so it's a real challenge for the current secretary. And I think we'll be able to share with the committee tomorrow their previous secretaries who share that view as well, and recognize that we should be moving forward with legislation to help fix the problem. Now, in the Senate, you've got bipartisan negotiations going on, which Secretary Mayorkas has helped to support and provide information so they can move forward. But instead of doing that on the House side, we're having these impeachment hearings, which don't fix the problem, and really just make a mockery of what impeachment is supposed to be on the Constitution.
Congressman, just so we're using the same framework, speaking the same language here, last month, VOA reports, hardly a conservative news outlet, VOA, around 300,000 migrants were processed at the southern border. Others, of course, escaped detention. We don't have those numbers. Can Democrats say with a straight face, this is under control? I'm not talking about processing them legally, but just the border and its security, period.
No, and we haven't been saying that. The point we've been trying to make repeatedly, including when we marked up the bill that the House passed, is that we need to increase the number of border agents dramatically. We need to increase the number of judges who handle these cases so we can cut back on, I think it's a 6-year backlog at this point. So people come in, it takes them 6 years to resolve the case. Fixing that means we need more judges to get that done more quickly. And there are other steps that we propose too. And the White House sent up a proposal in the fall to provide additional funding to take those additional steps. My colleagues in the House haven't taken that up. Instead, they've been on this year-long effort to move forward with impeachment, which the chairman said he was going to do when he was speaking to a group of donors back last spring. But he hasn't been able to work in actual work to get it done along the lines of what the Senate's doing. So we want to help get that done. And so we can move
about the House Republican plan. We have just a minute left here. Poll after poll does show that voters do trust Republicans more when it comes to the southern border in the next election. And Republicans did pass something called H.R. 2 in the House. Most Americans probably don't know what that is, but Speaker Johnson says that's the blueprint. If we have a deal, that's the blueprint. Democrats oppose it. What exactly do you object to in H.R. 2?
Well, don't say just Democrats oppose it. The Senate said that it was dead on arrival when it got there. That's why the Senate is currently trying to negotiate a bipartisan bill that they can move forward. The problem with that bill is that it does a lot of things that are damaging. For example, threatening to cut off funding to groups like the Red Cross, Catholic Relief Services. He puts a lot of money in programs that and efforts like building the wall that haven't been proven to help address the problem, instead of adding more to the addition of Border Patrol agents, which we support, and then dramatically increasing the number of judges that can move these cases forward. There are other aspects to that too, but we just wanted to focus on the things that'll actually work. Addressing the drones challenges, we've been outflanked by the cartels in Mexico. When we went to the border, Border Patrol agents told us that. We need to do something to address those kinds of issues, expanding technology to check the trucks. Oh, yes, sir.
Sorry. Yeah, we will have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time tonight. We'd love to have you back on after this most recent impeachment hearing going on tomorrow. Thank you for your time, Congressman.
Thank you. I look forward to it, and thanks for having me on.
We do too, Congressman Ivey. Thank you so much.